Hello everyone, welcome to the next Promethean Directive tutorial. Today I'll be covering the Tech tab of the spreadsheet. So to start off with, to get your tech points, you need to select what start you have, low, mid, or high tech, which will give you either 25, 100, or 300 tech points to start off with. A lot of people are going to be mid-tech, so we'll base off of that. Going over to the Tech tab now. So you'll see that you've got 100 free tech points to spend at the bottom here. This will automatically update for you. If you spend 10, it goes down. Then you've got your spent tech points above that, also updates. And then you've got your a few indicators in these three cells right here, these three. And then the total tech value is just the summed cost of all of this stuff to let you know about how much there is in total. So if you want all of it, you need 2,000 tech points. Then we've got some other diagnostics right here, which are the amount of maximum power you get from technology, the maximum vehicle cost you have unlocked, and this is in thousands of materials, and then the intel and counter intel you get from technology. Everything on the right here is all information. You never need to enter anything over here. It just tells you a basic guide of where you can find the technologies. If you want to unlock a fast ship, you see it's an orange tech required. You look at it, orange tech, fast ships are right here. Similarly, there's also resource requirements. Resources are listed at the top, and then resources required are in the second column here. So this just tells you what you need to have to use each of these. Some have no restrictions, some have something with an asterisk, like heavy armor, or power, and so on. So this is your quick guide for what you're allowed to do, and then this is where you actually go to unlock it on the left here. So there are 4 tiers of tech. It doesn't really mean anything as far as like gameplay. It's just a guideline on where this tech is expected to go. World War I or earlier, World War II, generally Cold War techs, modern and near future stuff, and then sci-fi tech. It's not a perfect guide, but I just use that as a guideline for myself. So you want to research your technology. You've got your free tech points at the bottom, as we said. Now you've got to pick them. So if you want to get, let's say, fast ships, you need to unlock the tech before it. You always have to have all of the text to the left of the tech you want to research before you can get it. Also note that some of these don't mention anything, like particle physics doesn't mention what benefit it gives you. That means it doesn't give you any benefit at all. These are like starter techs that you have to buy to get invested in the tree. So you can't get nukes until you have particle physics. So the 30 you invest here is just a like down payment on a future benefit. If you're doing like custom requests for stuff, some of these may unlock the ability to do something fancy, like as a one-time build. So if you're a normally Cold War tech faction, but you want to try adding lasers, I might let you build like a one-off ship that has a weak LAM system if you only have the optics but not the LAMS tech, that kind of thing. But generally keep in mind that these techs here are going to give you no benefit at all until you research further ones, and this one as well. So that's just a way of making it harder to get to the more expensive techs and making you commit further to that tech line. And speaking of specialization, there's a really unique feature that this tech tree has, which I call like soft locking. There's a full description of it right here. But what you can do is if you know that you don't want a tech, if you're a World War II country and you know you're never going to use packs or plasmas, you can put a 4 underneath it from this check mark. And what that will do is it will make all of these techs cost 4 times as much. So you saw that the total cost is 200. Now it'll cost 800 to get the whole tech tree. And you see the total tech value has gone up as well. But for every one that you make more expensive by giving it a bigger number, you can make another one cheaper. So you can take industry right here and make it 0.8. Most of them, it's 4 and 0.5. But because industry is a very expensive tree, I've gone with 0.8 and 1.6. Anyways, so what I've done here is I've made this way more expensive, but this in turn is cheaper. So if I know for sure that I want industry, I can spend this. Instead of 20, it'll charge me 16. If I want industry 2, instead of charging me 40, it'll charge me 32. So I'm able to get these techs that I want for a cheaper price while effectively excluding myself from the higher ones. You can still research these, but it gets incredibly expensive very quickly. So a soft lock essentially just lets you take a tech that you probably don't want and make it a lot harder to get in return for making a tech that you do want much cheaper. And this is going to be vital for people in a mid-tech start, especially, who want to use certain things like railguns or fast ships, because otherwise you're using a ton of your budget on that. So I highly recommend soft locking at least a couple branches. Uh, and yeah, it's just another balance thing. So if you know that you want to have all of the text available, you do nothing but you get a slower start. Whereas if you do soft lock one of them, your opponents may be able to find that out, and then now they know, okay, they don't have to worry about packs or plasmas from you, so they can design their ships around that if you're in a war. Other things to note, so some of them just give you intel and counter intel. A lot of them give you power, which, as we mentioned, will get summed at the bottom here. 2 power from tech, another 3 gives you 5, and so on. And that gets updated on the other tabs as well. And then the industry techs are the ones that don't affect FTD stuff at all, or at least not much. The industry line, industry 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, just decrease the cost that production has in your cities, which is this value right here. Currently it's at 8. If I unselect these two, it will go back up to 10. Essentially, this is just making it easier to have your industry. And in fact, this gets applied retroactively. So industry that you previously paid for will actually get its cost reduced and give you money back as you research more industry techs. So those are very, very powerful for an eco. And then you've got harvesting, which unlocks certain types of harvesters. You can see that harvesting 1 will unlock the ability to harvest other psidium, oil, aluminum, chromium, and titanium, as well as upgrade your mines on forests, coal, and gas. Getting harvesting 2 will unlock these 3 and these 3 upgrades, and then harvesting 3 will unlock these 5 upgrades. Otherwise, you can unlock, or you can harvest these 3 with no text whatsoever. And then construction affects your maximum ship cost, going up from 250 as stock up to 500 with construction 1, a million with construction 2, and then 2 million with construction 3. If you want to go beyond that, you can request a super weapon, which will be a big, really expensive project that is very powerful and can change the outcome of a war or even the fate of the entirety of the whatever we're calling the map area, the entire map basically. And these are big projects that other people will become informed about if they have good intelligence on your country and things like that. So intelligence is going to be a significant kind of soft mechanic that's involved here. And then if there's a tech that you want but is not mentioned here, like something that fits the lore of your nation, a commonly requested one has been coal liquefaction, where you can turn a coal deposit effectively into gas or oil. If you want that, request it, and I'll make a custom tech and just keep track of it at the bottom here. I'll tell you how much it will cost, what other requirements you might have, and then you can choose to research that as you go. So this is a customizable system. You can totally do all of the stock stuff and get nothing special and you'll do fine. But if you feel like there's a potentially fun thing that you want to try out, just ask and we can probably make it happen. That's, I think, everything there is to talk about here. There's some useful stuff like the maximum stores for ships and the maximum speed and so on. But otherwise, that's all I have for this tutorial. I'll work on getting the other ones out shortly. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to having you on board for the project. Goodbye.